السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. الحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, today we are looking at lesson number 70, as you can see here, and today's lesson is titled Jismut Tuyur, the body of birds. Mainly, we are going to be discussing birds, different types of birds in this particular lesson. And then the author will compare the bird to other animals as well. So, jismun, of course, we all know is body. The body of something is called jismun. And then tuyur. Tuyur means birds. So, jismun tuyur, the body of birds. So, without wasting much time, let's just begin. Inshallah, we'll see what this lesson entails. The author begins by saying that Inna Allah wahaba li kulli hayawanin saghirin wa kabirin jisman la'iqan. Indeed, Allah has granted. Wahaba means to give a gift to someone. So, Inna Allah wahaba. Indeed, Allah has given li kulli hayawanin saghirin wa kabirin, to every small and big animal, jisman la'iqan, a suitable body. وَأَعْضَاءً يَسْتَعِينُ بِهَا عَلَى قَضَاءِ حَوَائِجِهِ. وَأَعْضَاءً, and then body parts. أَعْضَاء is the plural of udhun, and udhun means a part of something, a member of a part of a whole. So أَعْضَاءً يَسْتَعِينُ, and body parts يَسْتَعِينُ بِهَا, it seeks help by means of it. The manner it rely on it. Ista'ana yasta'inu, it means to rely on something, to seek the help of something. So it relies on it. Ala qada'i hawaijihi, on fulfilling its needs. Hawaijihi is needs. Qada is the plural. I'm saying is the plural. Is the noun form of qada, to fulfill. Okay, so fulfilling its needs, that it uses the a'dha that Allah has granted to it. وَتَحْسِينُ قُوتِهِ, and obtaining its food. Qut is sustenance of animals. Qut. وَسِلَاحًا يُدَافِعُ بِهِ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ, and silah, and a weapon. Okay, silahun actually means weapon. So something that is used for protection is termed as silah. So وَسِلَاحًا يُدَافِعُ بِهِ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ, that which it protects itself by means of it. So dafa, the verb is dafa. Dafa is, it mostly comes with an. So dafa an, it means to protect. Okay, so if I say dafa'tu nafsi an kaza wa kaza, I protect myself against so and so. So dafa an means to protect against. So it protects itself against, it protects itself by means of it. Bihi, by means of it. فَهُوَ الَّذِي أَعْطَى كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلْقَهُ ثُمَّ هَدَى. For he is the one, Allah Azza wa Jal is the one, أَعْطَى كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلْقَهُ, he grants everything is creation. He destined the creation of everything. This a human being should be having two legs. He should be walking straight on the land. A goat should be having four legs. It should be walking with four legs on the ground. So Allah is the one who destined all this, the creation of everything. This thing should look like this. This thing should have this, and that, and that. So Mahada, then he guided. Afterwards, he guided. He created and then he guides. He guides. This thing should do this. A goat should feed on grass. A human being should feed on so and so. A snake should feed on this. He is the one who guides everything. And everything Allah guides, even plants, trees. And they know this is how I should obtain water from the soil. A mosquito, he know this is how I should bite a human being and get all this. Allah is the one who guides. Allah, afterwards he guides. A mosquito know where he will get its food. A butterfly know where he will get its food. A human being, when you are hungry, you know. When your body part is paining, you know I should scratch here. This is Allah's doing. Then he guides. Sometimes if you look at small little animals like the bees or the ants, you see how they manufacture their home, their colony, termites. Look at termites. Look at this thing and you are amazed. How do they do that? So Allah says, Allah is the one who guide. Allah is the one who guide them to do that. Subhanallah. So then he says that Unzuru ila al-fil, look at the elephant. Kayfa madda Allahu fi anfihi, how Allah has extended his nose. How Allah has extended. Madda actually means to extend something, to prolong something. So he's saying that how Allah has prolonged this nose, the structure of the nose. لِيَسْتَخْدِمَهُ فِي حَوَائِجِهِ, to use it in its needs. وَيَتَنَاوَلُ بِهِ الطَّعَامَ وَالْمَاءَ, and then to obtain by means of it. It obtained by means of it, by means of its long nose. طَعَامًا وَالْمَاءَ, food and water. وَيُوَجِّهَهُ حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ, and then he directs it where he wants. وَجَّهَ يُوَجِّهُ, it means to direct something in a particular direction. He directs it wherever he wants. وَفِي طَرَفِهِ, and in its ending, taraf actually means the ending part of something, or that the edge of something is all termed as taraf. So وَفِي طَرَفِهِ, and its end, its edge, زَائِدَةٌ, there is an extension, يَلْتَقِطُ بِهَا الْأَشْيَاءَ الدَّقِيقَةَ, it pick by means of it, أشياء الدقيقة, light objects, light things that are very light. The elephant can pick it by its nose. At the end of the nose, there's some extension that it can use to pick it. That's what he's saying. التقط يلتقط is the verb here, which means to pick up something. Mainly something that is lost, and then we just pick it up. So that's why we have al-laqit. It's something that you get found on the way. It doesn't, the owner is not known. Even in fiqh, we have al-luqata. Okay, something that is misplaced. So they'll tell you, so if you are coming across something and then you just pick it up, well, all this one we call it, in Arabic we call it al-luqata or al-laqit. We just come across it, like Surah Al-Qasas, it comes in the Quran where Allah Azza wa Jal says that فَالْتَقَتَهُ آلُ فِرْعَوْنَ لِيَكُونَ لَهُ عَدُوًّا وَحَزَنًا. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, his mother placed him in the river, and so he was moving. Unfortunately or unfortunately, he ended up in the castle of Firaun. So Allah says, فَالْتَقَتَهُ آلُ فِرْعَوْنَ. The people of Firaun, the Al of Firaun, they pick him up. They pick it up. They open it, and it was Musa alayhi salatu. So Allah says, فَالْتَقَتَهُ. They pick it up. Iltaqata means to pick up something. Okay, something that is lost or something that someone has misplaced. Then you just come across it and pick it up. That is iltaqata. So that's the verb here. So يَلْتَقِطُ بِهِ الْأَشْيَاءَ الدَّقِيقَةَ, it picked by means of it light objects, light things. وَقَدْ قَرَأْتُمْ أَنَّ الْجَمَلَ, and then you have read. There is certainly no doubt that you have read. In the previous lessons we have came across this. That's what he's saying. وَقَدْ قَرَأْتُمْ أَنَّ الْجَمَلَ رَقَبَتُهُ طَوِيلَةٌ, that his neck is long. لِأَنَّهُ كَبِيرُ الْجِسْمِ, because it has a big body. طَوِيلُ الْأَرْجُلِ, long legs. Of course, the camel, it has long legs. Of course, it's true. فَلَوْ كَانَتْ رَقَبَتُهُ قَصِيرَةً. So if لَوْ كَانَ رَقَبَتُهُ قَصِيرَةً, if his neck was to be short, لَمْ يُمْكِنُهُ أَنْ يَرَى الْكَلَى مِنَ الْأَرْضِ حَتَّى يَبْرُكَ. It wouldn't have been able, لَمْ يُمْكِنُهُ, it wouldn't have been able, أَنْ يَرَى الْكَلَى, to feed on grass. Kela is actual grass. مِنَ الْأَرْضِ, from the earth, حَتَّى يَبْرُكَ, until it kneel down. So if the camel had a short neck, it wouldn't have been able to stand and feed until it kneel down. So if it was having short neck and want to feed, it would have to kneel down. That's what he's saying. وَفِي ذَلِكَ تَعْبٌ عَظِيمٌ, and in this and in that there is a great stress. Tab is stress, difficulty. Azim, great. وَشُغْلٌ كَثِيرٌ, and a lot of work. فَمَدَّ اللَّهُ فِي أُنُقِهِ, and so Allah extended, Allah prolonged in his neck. His neck, Allah make it long. وَرَأْسُهُ صَغِيرٌ, and his head is small. فَكَانَ خَفِيفَ الْحَمْلِ, and it is light in carriage. Due to that, it has been light for carriage. عَلَى رَقَبَتِهِ, on his neck. It has a small head. The camel is big, but it has a small neck, which make it easy to carry. That's what he's saying. وَلَمَّا قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَكُونَ الْجَمَلُ سَفِينَةَ الصَّخْرَاءِ, and when Allah decreed that, لَمَّا قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ, when Allah decreed, قَدَّرَ, to decree, أَنْ يَكُونَ الْجَمَلُ سَفِينَةَ الصَّخْرَاءِ, that the jamal, the camel should be the safina, the ship of the desert. We mean the means of travel through the desert. Ja'ala arjulaha munasibatan lizalik. He made his legs munasibatan lizalik, suitable for that. Munasib means suitable. Fala tasuhu fi rimal, and so it doesn't sink in the fine sand. Saha yasuhu, it means to sink. So it doesn't sink in the fine sand. You know, the desert is made up of a very fine sand. So that's what he's saying. The camel doesn't sink, his leg doesn't sink because of how Allah made it. وَخَلَقَ فِي جَوْفِهِ كُرُوشًا وَأَسْقَاقًا يُحَزِّرُ فِيهَا الْغِذَاءَ وَالْمَاءَ. وَخَلَقَ فِي جَوْفِهِ, and then he created in his stomach, the stomach of the camel, kurushan, stomachs. Kurush is the plural of kerishun, which means stomachs. You see ruminants, they have 4-chamber stomach. So all these stomachs, the single stomach is called kerishun. The plural is kurushun. So these chamber stomachs are what we term as kurush. So Allah made in his stomach kurushan, a number of stomachs, wa asqaqan, and water bags. Asqaqun is the plural of zikun, which means water bag. Water bag. You know, in today's, it is not common today. In the olden days, those who used to travel through the desert, you see them having some leather bags where they will put water in it, so that when they are thirsty, they will drink. Today, you hardly find it. But those days, they used to have similar things. And so, similarly, in the stomach of the camel, you see similar thing. There are zekun. When we were studying the camel, we have seen it. Yes, a number of asqaq, water bags, where it can store water. So that's what he's saying. يُحَزِّرُ فِيهَا الْغِذَاءَ وَالْمَاءَ. It stores in it giza, food, وَالْمَاءَ, and water. يُحَزِّرُ, حَزَّنَ يُحَزِّرُ, it means to preserve something. لأن السفر في الصحراء, for traveling in the desert, يحتاج إلى ذلك كثيرا, it needs that a lot. It needs storing water and food a lot. انظروا إلى القنغر والأرنب, look at the kangaroo, والأرنب, and then the rabbit. Arnabun is the rabbit. تروا رجليهما الخلفيتين طويلتين وكبيرتين. تروا رجليهما الخلفيتين, you will see the two back legs. طويلتين, long, وكبيرتين, and big. ورجليهما الأمامتين صغيرتين وقصيرتين, and then the two front legs, صغيرتين وقصيرتين, they are small and then they are short. ليمكنهما الجرء قفزا, to enable it to run in a jumping manner. Qafzan is jumping. The verb is kafaza. Kafaza means to jump. Okay, so you see that animal. Look at the kangaroo. You see how it moves. It moves by jumping. So that's what he's saying. Al-jaru qafzan. It runs, but not just normal running. Qafzan, jumping. Okay, so this is hal, the nature of the running. This is hal. So qafzan. So wafi qadamay rijlayni, and in the feet of the two legs, al-khalfiyataini, the back leg, the feet of the two back legs. Lil kangari, for the kangaroo, zilfun hadun jiddan. There is zilf. Zilf is the hoof. Zilf is the hoofs. Okay, so in the two back legs there is hoofs. Hadun, it is very sharp. Hadun jiddan, it is very sharp. Huwa silahuhu, it is his silah, his weapon. Yabqaru bihi batna aduwihi, it pierces, it stabs by means of it the stomach of his enemy. Baqara actually means to stab. You see, when someone is stabbed with a knife, we call it baqara. That's the verb. The verb is baqara yabqaru. So yabqaru bihi batna aduwihi, it stabs by means of it the stomach of his enemy. Bita'anatin wahidatin, with one piercing or with one stabbing. And then he says that kazalika tuyur, that is so with the birds. So all that he has described before, it was comparison that he was coming to make. Now let's look at what he says. He says that كَذَلِكَ الطُّيُورُ, that is so with the birds. What we have just read, that is similar thing with the birds. فَفِي جِسْمِهَا وَخِلْقَتِهَا آيَةٌ لِلَّهِ, for in his body and in his creation there is miraculous signs for Allah Azza wa Jal. Jism is body, khilqa is nature of something. So khilqatuhu, okay, khilqatuhu, his nature, his appearance, that's what we name as khilqa. I hope that is clear. His creation. Okay, so فَقَدْ كَسَى اللَّهُ جِسْمَهَا بِالرِّيشِ, for indeed Allah has covered. Kesa, it means to clothe, to use something to cover another thing, to wrap around another thing. So you see that Allah has wrapped around his body بالرِّيشِ, with feathers. Of course, you look at the birds, their body is covered with feathers. لِأَنَّهُ أَخَفُّ لِلطَّيَرَانِ, because it is lighter for flying. وَجَعَلَ إِزَامَ الطَّائِرِ رَقِيقَةً, and then he made the bones of the ta'ir, of the bird, raqiqatun. Raqiqatun means light. Jawfa'a means hollow. It is not heavy. It is just inside. Inside there is nothing in it. It's just made up of a hollow. A hole. Okay. And that's similar thing if you are eating the flesh of the meat of this birds. Let's see, a guinea fowl or a chicken, or if you look at the bones, you really appreciate what he's seeing. Okay, izam is the bones. So he's saying that if you look at the bones of the birds, Allah make it raqiqatun, it is light. Jawfa, it is hollow. Look at inside. If you just bite it, it will break. Unlike the bones of the other animals, like a cow or a sheep, you can easily bite it and then it will break like that. But here he's saying that it is light and then it is hollow. فَلَا يَؤُقَهُ ثِقْلُ رِيشٍ أَوْ جِسْمٍ عَنِ الطَّيَرَانِ. And so, ثِقْلُ رِيشٍ, the heaviness of the feathers, أَوْ جِسْمٍ, or of the body. La ya'uquhu, it doesn't hinder it. And it tayaran, from flying. Aqa ya'uqu, it means to hinder, for something to prevent, to hinder another thing. So fala ya'uquhu siqlu rishin, so it doesn't prevent it. What doesn't prevent? The heaviness of his feathers, our jismin, or his body. The heaviness of his feathers or his body doesn't prevent it and it tayaran, from flying. That's what he's saying. So mawahaba anwa at-tuyur, then he grants different types of birds, and min al-manaqir, different types of beaks. He grants to different types of birds, different types of beaks. The beak, the thing at the pointed thing at the mouth of the bird, that's the beak. That's what we term as manaqir, is the plural. The singular is minqar. Minqarun is the singular. And then the plural is manaqir. So, takhtalifu bi ikhtilafi tabi'ati at-tayr. It differs by the difference in the nature of the birds. Ikhtilafi tabi'ati at-tayr. The difference of the nature of the birds. It differs by means of that. Wa ghizaihi, and then his food. Wa adatihi, and then his habit. So the beak differs by the different nature of the birds, and then eat the food that they eat, and then his habit. Wa kazalika yakhtalifu tarkibu aqdamihi, and that is how the tarkib of the aqdam, the arrangement of the feet, also differs. Unzur ila al-asafir, look at the asafir. Asafir is the plural of usfur, which means sparrow. So look at the sparrow, wal hamam, and then the hamam, the dove, wal yamam, and then the pigeon, wal girban, and then the crow. Laysat ajsamuha aliyatan, his body is not high, meaning they are short. وأنها تلقط حبا صغيرا, and that it picks up. لقط يلقط, it also means to pick up. So, and it pick up حبا صغيرا, small grains من الأرض, from the earth. فلم تكن في حاجة إلى طول الأعناق, and it doesn't need. لم تكن في حاجة, it's not in a position of need. إلى طول الأعناق, for long neck. أعناق is the plural of unuq, that's the neck. ومناكيرها مستقيمة وقصيرة تعينها في حاجاتها. ومناكيرها, and then its beaks, مستقيمة وقصيرة, is straight and short. تعينها في حاجاتها, it helps it, it enables it, it aids it in its needs. Aana yu'inu, it means to help or to aid someone. So aanahu or tu'inuhu, it enables it or it aids it, it helps it in its needs. That is what he's saying. Then he says that انظر إلى الطيور التي تعيش في الماء. Look at the birds that lives in water. وتبحث عن قوتها في الماء, and then it search for its sustenance in the water. كالبط, like the duck. واللقلق, and then the laqlaq, that's the stork. ترى أعناقها ومناكيرها طويلة. You will see that their necks, أعناقها, their necks, ومناكيرها, and their beaks, طويلة, they are long. لأنها ترسل مناكيرها, because it says, it sends, or it put in its beaks. في أعماق الأنهار. The main thing here is أعماق. أعماق is the plural of umkun, which means the depth of something, the deeper part of something. And then anhar, we always rivers. And then birak is the plural of birqatun, birqiyatun, which means a pool or a pond. Okay, so he's saying that this birds, this type of birds which feeds in water, tursilu a'naqaha, they manakiraha, they send or they insert their manakir, their beaks into the water, into the depth of the water, of the rivers, and then the birak, the ponds. All that is clear. وَتَسْتَخْرِجُ قُوتَهَا مِنْ أَحْشَائِهَا, and they remove their sustenance from the depth of it. أَحْشَائِهَا, أَحْشَاءٌ is similar as أَعْمَاق. It also means the depth of something, the interior part. So it's giving us different vocabularies for the same word or for the same meaning. فَخَلَقَ اللَّهُ لَهَا أَعْنَاقًا طَوِيلًا, and so Allah created for it long necks. وَمَنَاكِيرَ مُسْتَقِيمَةً, and then beaks that are straight. وَطَوِيلَةً كَذَلِكَ, and it is long like that. وَانْظُرْ إِلَى الطُّيُورِ الَّتِي تَقْتَاتُ بِاللَّحْمِ, and look at the birds that obtain its sustenance from the meat. Bimana, they feed on meat. اقتات يقتات, it means to obtain sustenance. وَالْفَوَاكِهِ, and from fruits, birds that feed on meat and fruits. وَتَأْكُلَهَا نَحْشًا, and then they eat it by tearing it up. Nahasha is actually to tear up something, to bite and tear up. Okay, so nahshan is here, it is hal, it is hal, condition in which the verb is done. وَتَأْكُلُهَا نَحْشًا, and then they feed on it by tearing it up. Kel hida, like the hida. The hida is the plural of had'atun, which means the kite, the animal that they call the kite. One nusur, and then nusur, the plural of nasrun, that is eagle. Was sukur, and then the sukur, the plural of sakrun or sakratun, that is the hawk. La tajidu manakiraha mustaqimatan, you won't see their beaks being straight. لأنها لا تغني عنها, because it doesn't suffice it. ولا تقضي حاجتها, and it doesn't do or it doesn't fulfill its needs. فخلق الله لها مناكير متقوسة, Allah created for it beaks that are mutaqawwisa. When we say mutaqawwisatun, it means it is curved. it is curved. Hope that is clear. Qaws is actually brackets. Brackets is what them as qaws. So mutakawwisatun in curved manner. Okay. So their beaks are curved. Hard that a turf. The edge is sharp. Turf, as we said, is edge. Hard that means sharp. So they have a sharp edge. The ending part is very sharp. وَيَكُونُ طَرْفُهَا الْأَعْلَى مُتَقَدِّمًا مُتَقَوِّسًا. And then its upper edge, مُتَقَدِّمًا, it is a little bit in front. It is extended a little bit than the lower one. مُتَقَوِّسًا, it is also curved. فَيُعِيرُهَا فِي نَحْشِ اللُّحُومِ, and then it is in tearing up meat. وَقَرْضِ الْفَوَاكِهِ, and then biting persistently onto fruits. Qardun is actually, in English we call it gnawing. Okay, gnawing. So to bite something persistently. You see how a dog is biting a bone, he bites it repeatedly to see whether if it can break it up. That is gnawing. And from it, in Arabic, we call it qardun. So, qardil fawakih, biting persistently on fruits. They will just be biting on the fruit to see if they can break it and eat it. That's what he's saying. Wafil abdil alayha, and biting and holding onto it. Abdun actually is similar to qard. Qard is biting persistently, but abdun is biting and holding onto. They bite and hold it. That is abdun alayha. كذلك إذا نظرنا إلى أرجل الطيور ومخالبها, and that is so if we should look at the legs of birds, ومخالبها, and then its claws. Makhalib is the plural of mikhlab. Mikhlabun is the claw. You see the claw of some birds. That's what we term as mikhlab. Okay, even a hen has these claws. So we call it mikhlab. The plural is makhalib. So if that's what he's saying, كذلك إذا نظرنا إلى أرجل الطيور ومخالبها. That is similarly if we should look at the legs of the birds and then their claws. رأينا بينها فرقا بحسب أنواع الطيور. We find difference. رأينا بينها فرقا. We find in between them difference. بحسب أنواع الطيور, based on the difference of the birds, based on the different types of birds. Bihasbi actually means based on. So bihasbi meaning in regard. So if I say bihasbi madrasa, meaning in regard of the madrasa, when it comes to the madrasa. So hasb actually means, in English, that's what we say when we come to. So if you are saying something that you want to talk about another thing, then you see that is so if we should come to, or if we should talk about the school, or if we should talk about the hospital, it has so and so. So you see, bihasbi kaza wa kaza. I hope that is clear. So he's saying that ra'ayna baynaha farqan bihasbi and why to you based on the different types of birds. Wa taba'iha, and then its nature. Wa adatiha, and then its habits. Wa ghizaiha, and then its food, the food that they consume. Fatuyur allati ta'ishu ala al-bar, for the birds that live on the land. وتلتقط الحبة ليست أرجلها طويلة, and then they pick up grains. ليست أرجلها طويلة, their legs are not long. وأنها ترفع رجليها في وقت واحد, and that they raise their two legs, رجليها, their two legs at the same time. So they hop. You see, when an animal is hopping, they raise their two legs at the same time. So that's what he's saying. Watamshi wasban, and then they walk wasban. Wasban means leaping. Okay, wathaba means to leap, similar to hopping, like you jump with your two legs at the same time. Wa amma tuyur allati ta'ishu fil ma', but the birds that live in the water. Wa tasidu samak, and then they hunt fishes. Wa hawam al-ma', and then the water vermin. Hawam al-ma is what this bird that they call, or this animal that they call vermin. In English we call it vermin, water vermin. Hope that is clear. So وحوام الماء, and then they feed on fishes and then water vermin. فإنها تقدم رجلا في المشي. They bring their one leg forward in walking. وتؤخر أخرى كالإنسان, and then they delay the other in like the human being. وتمشي رويدا, and then they walk slowly. فإنها إذا وثبات, for if it should leaping, أو قفزت, or it should hop, أفلتها الصيد, the hunt will escape. أفلت, for something to escape. أفلتها الصيد, the صيد, the thing that it is trying to catch, it will escape it. It will run and leave it. That's what he's saying. So if these birds that he's talking about, if they are going to, they walk like the human being, they bring one leg forward, then the other one will come, and the other one will come in that other. They don't move hopping. How that is clear. And he explained, he said that is so because if he should do that, if he should hop, the thing that it is trying to catch, it will escape. If it sees that just hopping, it will escape. So it's moved like the human being, slowly, slowly, such that it doesn't even recognize that someone is coming, and it catches it. That's what he's saying. Okay. Then he says that كذلك الطيور التي تسبح في الماء, that is so, or that is similar as the birds that swim in the water seed, and then they hunt or they search for food. فلها جلد رقيق, for they have a fine skin. جلد رقيق, a fine skin. في مخالبها, in its claws. يصل بين أصابعها, it spreads and reaches its fingers. فتنتشر مخالبها كالمظلات إذا نشرت, and the mahalib, the claws, tantashiru, is spread out, kalmazallat, like the umbrellas, iza nushirat, when it spreads it. So if you should spread its claws, it spreads like the umbrella. That's what he's saying. Al-mizallat is the plural of mazalla, that is the umbrella. Wa tusaiduha fi sibahati musa'adatan aliyatan, and then it is it in sibaha, in hunting, musa'adatan aliyatan, a great help or a great aid. وَالطُّيُورُ الَّتِي تَقْتَاتُ بِاللَّحْمِ, and then the birds that feast on meat, لَهَا أَرْجُلٌ قَوِيَّةٌ, they have strong legs. وَمَخَالِبُ كَبِيرَةٌ, and then big claws. Then he says that وَفِي أَصَابِعِهَا أَصْفَارٌ مُتَقَوِّسَةٌ حَادَّةُ الْأَطْرَافِ. وَفِي أَصَابِعِهَا, and in its fingers, asabi' is the fingers, and in its fingers, asfarun mutaqawwisatun, it has asfar is the plural of zufrun, which means nails, fingernails. It has some nails. Mutaqawwisatun, that is curved. Haddatul atraf, it has sharp edge, sharp endings. Tusaiduha fi nahshil luhum, it helps it in tearing meat. Takumu arjuluha wa makhalibuha, its legs and its claws, makhalib, the claws, they stands in the position of the arjul, and then that's the legs and then the hands, meaning that they replace arjuluha wa makhalibuha, its legs and then its claws, they stand for the position, meaning that they function as arjul wa aidi, legs and then hands. The legs and then the claws together, they serve both the functions of the legs and then the hands. It could be used for legs and it could be used for hands. That's what he's referring to. فَإِذَا مَشَتْ كَانَتْ لَهَا أَرْجُلًا تَمْشِي بِهَا. And so if it should walk, if it is a mashat, when it walks, كَانَتْ لَهَا أَرْجُلًا تَمْشِي بِهَا, there will be for it legs, تَمْشِي بِهَا, by which it walks. وَإِذَا طَارَتْ أَوْ أَرَادَتْ أَنْ تَأْكُلَ And if it flies, is a thought that when it flies, أو أرادت أن تأكل, or it wants to eat, كانت لها أيديا تبطش. It has, there will be for it hands by means it holds. Batasha means to hold something, to grab something. So he's saying that the legs and then the claws, it serves the position of, it will be used for as legs and it will be used as hands. So that's what it is. He's saying is a aradat an ta'kula. If it will want to eat, كانت لها أيديا تبطش. It will have hands that it grabs by means of it. وهذا النوع من الطير, and this type of bird, قد يمسك عودا, it may hold stick. It has the ability to hold stick. أو قطعة لحم, or pieces of meat. قطعة, of course, small pieces of meat. ويطير في الجو ويستقل به, and then it flies into the atmosphere. يطير في الجو, it flies into the atmosphere. ويستقل به, and then it holds onto it. So it can hold a stick or a piece of meat, and then it will fly into the atmosphere and still hold onto it. فلا يسقط من يده, and it won't fall from his hands. وكثيرا ما رأينا, and a lot of times we have seen al-baziya. Al-bazi is the falcon. This bird that they call the falcon is called the bazi. So he says that وكثيرا ما رأينا البازي, and then a lot of times we have seen the bazi قد قبض على طائر كبير. It may hold on to a big bird. بمخالبه, with its claws. وطار به إلى أشه, and it will fly with it to its nest. Ushun is the nest. وأكله هنالك, and it will eat it there. Aminan mutma'innan. Aminan, peaceful. Mutma'innan, rest assured. It will go and eat it there, peaceful, and then mutma'innan, and then rest assured, without any hesitation, to be there, without any disturbance, not caring about anything, to eat it, rest assured. This is the end of this particular lesson. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. If you have any question, inshallah you can access through the email. Okay, inshallah we will respond to you. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.